Hey y'all, welcome to the channel. Today we're checking out how to speak British.
Oscar Wilde famously described Britain and the US as two nations divided by a common language. Now, there are many different words that Britain uses that Americans don't. For example, fortnight, caravan, petrol, and so on.
We use the word fortnight. We also use the word caravan. This is already an inaccurate video and it's only the intro. But let's keep our hopes up. Maybe we'll learn something.
But there are also
don't
many
say petrol.
phrases and idioms that are common in the UK that are unheard of in the US. And here are some of my favorites.
All right. So phrases,
Hi, I'm
not
Siobhan
words.
Thompson, and this is Anglophenia.
Hello.
Now, if I were to say to you, Brian used to know his onions, but then he lost the plot, he made a right royal cock-up, and now he's living at Her Majesty's pleasure. If you're American, this might not make the blindest bit of sense to you, but all of these phrases are used pretty ubiquitously in the UK. Enough that when I first used them in the States, I was shocked when people had no idea what I was talking about. So here are some pretty common examples of British phrases. The etymology of them is a little bit hazy since they are colloquialisms, but when they are known, I will tell you.
Great.
Away with the fairies. This means that somebody is daydreaming or is sort of out of touch with reality. It doesn't actually mean that they have run away with actual fairies. Fairies don't exist. Sorry, Tinkerbell.
You don't know that.
So, as an example, oh my goodness, sorry, I was away with the fairies. Or, oh, don't mind Daisy, she's away with the fairies. It does come from all of those terrifying stories about children being kidnapped by fairies, but it also indicates somebody who kind of lives in their own fantastical imagination. The closest in American English is probably Space Cadet, but it's not exactly.
Away with the fairies. What stories are there where kids get taken by fairies? Novels about children kidnapped by fairies growing up in the world of the Fae. Supernatural beings blamed for stealing children include fairies, demons, Jeez. Oh, there's a poem by William Butler Yeats, inspired by Irish folktales of children abducted to fairyland. Curious. Away with the fairies.
Swings and roundabouts. This means that everything evens out in the end, sort of like 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. So swings and roundabouts always end up in the same place eventually, so you don't have to worry about where they are right now. The Manhattan Bridge is closer than the Brooklyn Bridge, but there's more traffic, so it swings and roundabouts, really. This phrase probably came about at the end of the 19th century when fairgrounds became widespread throughout Britain.
Swings and roundabouts? Never, ever heard this. If someone said this to me, I wouldn't know what they were talking about. Swings and round. Oh, it came right up. Used to say that two choices or situations are basically the same because they have an equal number of advantages and disadvantages. Swings and roundabouts, you know, right? It doesn't matter.
Horses for courses.
I've heard this.
This means that different people are good at different things, just like some horses are better at racing and some at jumping. You have to pick the right horse for the right course. So why wasn't George Clooney cast as Harry Potter? Well, it's horses for courses, isn't it?
I thought I had heard of this, but I take it back. I've not heard of this. Horses for courses. Horses for courses. Horses for courses. Different people are suited to different things or situations. Used to say that it is important to choose suitable people for particular activities because everyone has different skills. I like this. I would love to see George Clooney play Harry Potter. I think that would be a fantastic film. Warner Brothers, you know what to do.
The dawn chorus. This refers to the swell of birdsong that happens right as the sun comes up. As in, I was trying to lie in this morning, but I got woken up by the dawn chorus. All of you city dwellers might not know that this is a thing. It is. Also, did you know that there are birds that aren't pigeons? Yeah, true story.
Okay, that's funny. We have a lot of pigeons in the city. We have ravens, and they make this noise like... It's pretty weird. The dawn chorus. If someone said that to me, I would think they were referring to some official choir. The dawn chorus. The dawn chorus is the outbreak of birdsong at the start of a new day. In temperate countries, this is most noticeable in spring when the birds are either defending or breeding territory, trying to attract a mate or calling in the flock. They call in the flock? Birds perching higher in the trees and birds with larger eyes tend to sing first. This may be due to differences in the amount of light perceived by the birds.
Wow. Bob's your uncle. This is a way of saying, and there we go.
I've heard this, but I don't really know what it means. I guess it means, and there we go.
or and right away. It indicates that something is done very quickly and efficiently. So throw a tea bag in a cup, pour on some boiling water, and Bob's your uncle a cup of tea. Sometimes people lengthen this to things like, and Robert's your mother's brother, or and Robert is your father's closest male relative.
I like that.
Seriously, this is the thing that people do.
She said doo-doo. Just gotta point that out. Where does Bob's your uncle come from? Why did people say it? Bob's your uncle is a phrase commonly used in the United Kingdom. The meaning is similar to that of the French expression et voilà. The origins are uncertain, but a common hypothesis that the expression arose after Conservative Prime Minister Robert blah blah blah, his name was Bob, appointed his nephew Arthur Balfour as Chief Secretary for Ireland in 1887, an act of nepotism, which was apparently both surprising and unpopular. But the phrase didn't become popular until 40 years later, so it may not have been that. Weird. That's a strange one, isn't it?
Chinwag. This means gossiping and chatting. Having a nice chinwag is just having a little catch-up with your friends. So I'm just going to go put the kettle on, and then we'll have a nice chinwag about that George Clooney being cast as Harry Potter.
She said it again. That's called a callback. Yeah, I've heard people say I've heard the phrase chinwag, but I didn't know that that's what it meant. It makes sense because it's like you're wagging your chin when you talk. Clever, y'all. Very clever. Siobhan, I like this moment that we've paused on. We'll have a nice chinwag.
Donkey's years. This means a really long time, like, I haven't seen you in donkey's years. The closest American equivalent to this is probably, I haven't seen you in an age. This comes from two different roots. Firstly, the Cockney rhyming slang for years is donkey's ears. And secondly, donkeys live for a really long time. Yeah, we're learning a lot of things today, huh?
I've never heard any American say I haven't seen you in an age. Ever. Ever, Siobhan. You're wrong. I'm an American. USA! And we don't say that. How long do donkeys live? What's he going on about? Lifespan of a donkey. That sounds like the name of a film or a memoir. 27 to 40 years. Working donkeys in the poorest countries have life expectancy of 12 to 15 years. In more prosperous countries, they have a lifespan of 30 to 50 years. So the prosperity of the country they live in determines their lifespan pretty heavily. So if a donkey's like a ditch digger, he's going to live to like 12 to 15 years. If the donkey is an accountant, white collar, maybe CEO, maybe HR rep, they're going to live to 50 years probably. Maybe a coder. Can donkeys code? There is, donkey code. There's a thing called donkey code, but donkeys can't code.
Yeah, we're learning a lot of things today, huh?
There's an air of condescension from her. I kind of like it though.
To have a butcher's. This means to have a look at. Oh, you got engaged, let's have a butcher's of that ring then. It's another one that comes from Cockney rhyming slang, butcher's hook meaning look, and it spread around the country after the advent of radio and television. If you watch the show Call the Midwife, you will hear it said about 800 times every episode.
Butchers. I've never heard that. That's so strange. Cockney rhyming slang for look. Have a butcher's at this for me. An adaptation of the Cockney rhyming slang butcher's hook, to look, made by locals from the Isle of Wight, England. In this case, it's been used to describe petty, persistent criminals or a crook, hence the butcher's bit, butcher's hook, crook, believed to have started primarily in the west of the island in the early 1980s, so it's recent. They went on to pervade the island and some parts of... Wait, this says 1980s, but she said much earlier than that. Now it is used to describe any kind of criminal activity from torching a car to burglary and shoplifting.
It's monkeys. This means it's very cold. It comes from nautical slang. It's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey.
When I read that, I pictured someone screaming, "It's monkeys!" like they're under a monkey attack. But it just means it's cold. Okay.
It comes from nautical slang. It's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey. Meaning cannonballs, not the balls that you were thinking about. The brass monkey was the name of the stand. If it got too cold, the metal would warp and all of the cannonballs would roll off. Of course, this never happened in Britain, where it is a rainy 12 degrees centigrade every day of the year.
Okay. She's awfully excited about that, and I detect some sarcasm in her delivery. So I'm going to look up how cold is 12 degrees Celsius. Celsius to Fahrenheit. 12 degrees. Oh, 53 degrees Fahrenheit. That's kind of nice. I like a 53-degree day. In fact, what is it right now? Oh, it's 61. Well, that's even nicer. 53 is good, though.
Up the wooden hill to Bedfordshire. This means to
Never
go
heard
to
that.
bed.
Oh,
Just think about it for a second.
Bedfordshire.
Got it?
Yeah, okay.
Good.
Up the wooden hill to bed. Oh, the wooden hill is in the stairs. I think that's Siobhan's grandpa because that looks like a photo of her on the wall there. Who else is it? Who is that? Some kind of superhero eagle man? Who's that? A sailor? Up the wooden stairs to Bedfordshire.
Got it?
Yeah.
Good. Up the duff.
I've
This
heard
is
of
kind of
this.
a funny way to say that somebody's pregnant.
Yeah, I've heard this one before, and when I first heard it, I thought it meant up the butthole, but it doesn't.
It probably comes from about the same place as having a bun in the oven. Plum duff is another name for Christmas pudding. Nurse, I think I'm up the duff. Come and have a butcher's. God, wake up. What are you, away with the fairies? Oh, it's monkeys in here. Can't you turn the heating up? So, there we go. Do you have a favourite British phrase? Let us know in the comments.
Great. Let me just review. Away with the fairies. Swings and roundabouts. Horses for courses. The dawn chorus. Chinwag, donkey's years. Butchers. Monkeys. Wow. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of videos about British culture and a lot of these Anglophenia videos. Never heard of most of these phrases. Isn't it crazy how phrases arise? Like it's sort of like a joke and it becomes in style and then it evolves and it becomes its own thing. And then eventually people forget the original reason that the phrase became a thing and the meaning changes. Pretty awesome. I learned some stuff. I hope you did too. If you didn't, that's cool. You're probably British. You already know these things and you're just watching me be surprised and ignorant. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching me be surprised and ignorant, and thank you for watching this with me, and I'll see you next time. Later.